So, you think you don't have enough time during the day to cane train? What if I told you that it only takes 5 minutes per day to make meaningful progress in your CaneFlow? That's the topic of today's Caner Tip Tuesday. It's all about how to get real results in just 5 minutes a day. So stick around. Before we jump into today's topic, a warm welcome to all, especially if you're here for the first time. Do this before we both forget. If you're loving the content, hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell icon so that you don't miss any future content, and avail yourself of the free resources, by far the most important one, the no-cost Cane Clarity Call. That's where you text the letter CCC to the number on the screen, and in less than 24 hours, we're going to be in a conversation with you, answering all your questions. Doesn't matter if you're brand new, especially if you're brand new, but maybe you're an instructor and you have questions. You want to learn more about what we do and how you can better serve your audience. Just go ahead and do that. And then you also have the free resources that are the private Facebook groups, request entry. Remember to agree to the group rules. Otherwise, they will not let you in. That's how we keep ACSD a very happy place. So it's one of the most common challenges that caners have, especially when you're brand new, or maybe you've been at it for a while and you're like, I just don't have the time to focus on this. I have responsibilities. I have family. I have work. We get all of that, but with CaneFlow, it's different. When you know how to do it, we often talk about the bite-sized CaneFlow snacks, right? Think of it as grazing throughout the day, right? You're nourishing yourself with movement, but this doesn't have to be these long, drawn-out hour sessions. As a matter of fact, the smaller, more frequent sessions are more effective for CaneFlow than these longer sessions, but they're infrequent. So I'm going to give you a structure for how to put it together, and you will make some real progress if you follow this framework in just 5 minutes a day. Okay, so let's jump right into that. First of all, pick one skill set. Okay, so take your pick. I'm going to, just for the purposes for this segment, and just because it's popular, we're going to take handling. And for those of you that are brand new, handling is the skill set of how your dominion over the tool, over the cane, all the drilling that you do, how this finds its way into being functional for you if you need to spring into action, regardless of how you have it. Okay, that is your handling. Think of a basketball player. It's the equivalent of that basketball player's dribbling skill. Hockey player, how effective is he with that puck? Same thing is with the cane. So pick one. You have many, right? Maybe it's forward spins, maybe it's the popular figure eight. Let's take forward spins, because everybody, right? Maybe you're familiar with that. The idea here, that the first thing is to choose one and turn off the low body. So rather than, but CaneFlow is all about the handling with the footwork. I know, but just choose one. If you're working on footwork, just work on that footwork, and then later on you're going to integrate it. But for those 5 minutes, you're going to focus on the skill and not on repetition, how fast, because when you say, I only have 5 minutes, let me see how many reps I can get in there. CaneFlow is not like that. You're going to replace repetition with rhythm. And rhythm, in this case, I want you to think feel. So how is this feeling to you? And slow it down, because believe it or not, when you're moving and you're trying to get that over, it's easier to use momentum, right, to get repetition. We don't want that. I want you to, if it's, for instance, this forward spin, you can do figure eights, you can do whatever you like. Take it at the apex and then replace repetition. And how many can you do with a prompt? We have many in CaneFlow. We have several of those. Just ask yourself, what could be lighter? And specifically here, what's the minimum I need to do to get that cane to go full rotation right over? So if you look at yourself without thinking and bringing mindfulness to the practice, mindfulness, I always point out, doesn't mean to have your mind full of other things. So while I'm doing this, I'm not thinking about the flat tire I got this morning. I'm bringing it here, and I want to ask, what's the minimum and And what's even lighter than that? What can be even, lighter than that? Because in doing that slow and focusing and bringing your attention, you will in time release the tourniquet, right? And be able to, but with efficiency, to where the rest of and dominion, you put an end to it when you want to put an end to it, not because it's going in, oh, I got to slow this down somehow, right? When you do that and you start aligning mindfulness and focus, that is infinitely more important. So follow me here. The first one is focus on one skill. The second one is to replace mindless repetition with rhythm, which is, what does that feel? Use prompts. What's the minimum I have to do here? And what could be even lighter than that, right? And then the third one, in true CaneFlow fashion, tie it into your empty hand, right? Say, well, I don't know what the empty hand is to that. Well, then you've got to follow us a little bit more and dig a little bit more. But a rotational movement, right? A rotational movement that you're doing with, the trajectory of it. You can bring that to a bag. If it's figure eight, then that becomes your, hammer fist here. And well, don't move that. Okay, then don't move and come in here. But what would your anatomical targeting be? And how is this, right, on a figure eight from the horn and crook differ from the shaft? And then I take it in here. That's the translation. And how now you're taking one thing and little by little, this is what's going to happen when you do what I'm saying, right? When you do this regularly, you're going to find that it's easier to do each one of these skill sets, right? Even though you're going slow and mindful, because it's all about the quality, not about mindless quantity. Got it? So do that. Let me know how and if this is really resonating, if you go ahead, comment below, let me know how it is that you train. But there's certainly a method to the madness. The most important thing that you can do right now is go ahead and text those CCC letters to the number on the screen. Let's have a conversation, because you don't want to go, first of all, you don't need everything. You don't need every course. You don't need, 3 different, you don't need any of that. You just need to get started and have the proper guidance and know how to do things properly. And that's going to move you forward, move your progress needle forward, much more than trying to figure things out on your own. And it's working so much harder for less. I'm Joe Robaina for ACSD and CaneFlow. Thanks for watching. Keep caning. Stay safe.